I am in a city in Wisconsin that is surrounded by water, and it's a hub for shipbuilding on the Great Lakes.
We thank the underwriters of John McGivern's Main Streets, because without them, we couldn't make this show.
There's no place like Oconomowoc. Explore, play, shop, stay. Visit Oconomowoc.
Your community's best selfie spot is your type.
You'll find your bright spot in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin.
My father taught me that to make great bakery, you have to do it the right way. O&H Danish Bakery, where kringle traditions begin.
Yes, Greendale is beautiful on the outside. But it's what's inside that counts. Who doesn't love opening a door to their happy place? Whether it's indulging your sweet tooth, winding down, or exploring your creative side. Come on in. You just gotta see Greendale.
The Wisconsin Northwoods are calling. One word, one place. Minocqua.
John McGivern's Main Streets is grateful for additional financial support from Horicon Bank, the natural choice. West Bend Insurance Company, the silver lining. Our nonprofit, the Friends of Main Streets. And from the Friends of PBS Wisconsin. Thanks, underwriters.
'Cause these are main streets. Something about a hometown speaks to me. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. The heart and soul of communities right here on these main streets.
I'm in Sturgeon Bay, and with a population of just under 10,000 people, it is the largest community in Wisconsin's Door County. This city on the east side of Wisconsin is about 3 hours north of Milwaukee, right in the middle of Door Peninsula. And it's surrounded by water. It's split in two by a bay of the same name, Sturgeon Bay. And you have Lake Michigan on the east and the Bay of Green Bay on the west. Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. The city of Sturgeon Bay is on both sides of the bay, right, Emmy?
It is. So first, what was established was the community of Graham on the east side of the bay. That was in the 1850s. And settlers came from Europe, Scandinavia, but it officially became Sturgeon Bay in 1883.
How did the other side of town come about?
So that area was known as Sawyer.
Okay.
And the only way to get there was on a toll bridge, which was also a railroad. Well, in time, the Friends on both sides of the bay decided to just merge together, but they liked that Sturgeon Bay name, so they kept that.
Really a beautiful area, but the problem, hard access to Lake Michigan.
It's hard to imagine, but the bay did not go through to Lake Michigan. So just think these ships had to make this dangerous journey up through the top of the peninsula and back down, which that area is known as Death's Door.
Had you heard of Death's Door before?
Only because they're a distilling company, but you know, you do a little history and
You know.
now I know. But yeah, then the canal was built, they brought it over to Lake Michigan, and it really put Sturgeon Bay on the map.
And just look around, you can tell that it's still a working waterway.
Absolutely. It's all maintained by the Army Corps of Engineers, and there is such a story here, such a legacy behind shipbuilding, and they are so proud of that shipbuilding legacy on the Great Lakes.
So much to learn.
Beautiful.
Let's learn more, Emmy, okay?
Okay.
We couldn't come to Sturgeon Bay without talking about shipbuilding.
Fincantieri Bay Shipbuilding.
Fincantieri
Yes.
is what I heard. Is that it?
That's sir.
Where are we going first?
Today we're going to go up to the top of our large gantry crane. We call it Big Blue.
Why do you call it that? Because it's blue, right?
It's big and blue. And it's used in the process of building the ships here and supporting our repair process.
Oh.
So
Hello. You have a graving dock. You also have a floating dock, you told me?
Yeah,
And the
so
floating dock, what's the difference?
a graving dock is built below the surface of the water. The floating dry dock is filled with water, sinks, and then pumped out.
Can we talk history about this place?
Bay Shipbuilding started life in 1902 in Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Okay.
In 1968, the ships were getting too big for the river that they were on, so they moved the shipbuilding facility up here to Sturgeon Bay. And then in 2008, Fincantieri purchased Bay Ship, Marinette Marine, and a couple repair yards, and formed the Fincantieri Marine Group in the United States.
Can I get on a ship?
Certainly, we're able to go on the Herbert Jackson.
And what's the Herbert Jackson do?
So it is bulk carrier. It operates here on the Great Lakes. It came in for some repairs.
We made it. Wow, this thing's huge. What does this carry?
This carries mainly iron ore.
How many people work on this thing?
25,
25.
30. There's Cole.
Hey, my name's John.
Cole.
Good to meet you.
Likewise. I'm the officer in charge of the navigational watch. It's my official title.
That's your chair right there?
Yep.
Where do you nap? How are you?
Good.
I'm John. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You're the captain? How long have you been captaining?
3 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell? What's going on here?
I know, John.
It's a good gig, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
Great gig.
Thanks for talking to me, you
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. Thank you.
Have a good season.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you noticed a theme around town? Nope, they're not sturgeon, they're bass. Bass around the bay. There are 27 of these fish all around town. If you would like to lure one in yourself, go on the online auction. It actually benefits the local art programs.
People in Sturgeon Bay are committed to being awake. There are 3 coffee shops on this block alone. It's called Little Seattle. To Little Seattle here in Sturgeon Bay. So Waterfront Mary is who?
Our daughter.
Your daughter.
Our youngest daughter, we named it after her.
Was she like, well, thank you? Let's talk about what goes on here.
We have a restaurant, full menu, plus we do fish boils 6 nights a week.
6 nights a week?
Yes.
You couldn't have a more beautiful spot. When did you take this place?
We bought it in 1992, and we opened it about 6-7 months afterwards.
We picked Sturgeon Bay for obvious reasons, and we've never left.
Because it's such a fantastic place to live.
We're here for a fish boil, just so you know. We're very excited. So let's talk process. What's going to happen? We have a big pot of boiling water.
Yes, sir. So what I'll do is I will go grab the potatoes and carrots.
Okay.
Drop them in there, put 1 pound of sea salt in it, let it cook for 10 minutes.
What kind of potatoes are they?
Baby reds.
Baby reds.
Yep.
And why don't you put the onions in now too?
Those will be coming in about 3 minutes. Onion in for another 10 minutes.
I feel like we're doing Survivor or something.
Yeah, kind of.
And you can tell it looks good.
Yeah, it's looking great. Everything's moving around, water's good. Here goes the cod.
Here it goes. You're the cod people.
We are the cod people.
Do they do cod at other places?
No, we are the only ones in Door County that actually do cod. That'll go in for 10 minutes, let her cook for a little bit, I'll ring a bell, and then the show goes on. Come on down for the fish boil! Welcome to Waterfront Mary, folks. I'm Mike, I'll be your boil master tonight. How is everyone?
And what do you then throw on to flame it?
Kerosene.
Kerosene.
2, 3.
And so then that's all served on one platter?
The plate will come out with potatoes, carrots, onions.
Okay.
Marble rye bread, lemon, melted butter.
Uh-huh.
And then when you're done with that, then we'll bring you out the Door County cherry pie a la mode.
Hey guys.
Wow.
We're very excited.
It looks fantastic. Oh, poor man's lobster.
Poor man's lobster.
I love the idea of cod, and I love that this is the only
God.
place that they do it. This is delicious. Mike did a great job.
Packing it on. Are there seconds? There are 3 lighthouses in Sturgeon Bay. 2 can be seen from the north entrance to the canal. This one right here is like the postcard of Sturgeon Bay. It is the North Pier Head Light, and it's one of the most photographed things in all of Door County. That is the Canal Station Lighthouse, so different than its neighbor. This is what I really think of when I think of a lighthouse. And the third one's on the opposite end of the peninsula, the entrance to Sturgeon Bay. It's called the Sherwood Point Lighthouse. So Sherwood and Canal are only open 1 time a year. That's during the annual Lighthouse Walk. It happens in June, but you can't get in that house. Why? Because that's a private house. Somebody bought that lighthouse at an auction for $44,000. I paid more for my Volkswagen. I did. There is a whole lot of history right here on the waterfront in Sturgeon Bay.
There is. So we're at the Door County Maritime Museum. 10 floors to explore. And I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever seen a vertical museum.
Yeah.
I mean, every floor is going to be a new story.
Okay, I'll start at the 10th floor. I will do all of the even floors. You will do the odd floors.
But why? You're the odd one. I'll take even.
No, I'll do the even. She just called me odd. No, come on.
This is the highest indoor observation point in all of Door County.
Floor 10, and if you were to say this is what floor 10's about, what would you say?
The working waterfront of Sturgeon Bay. You see it moving. You see the ships, you see the pleasure craft, you see the hotels, everything. You start at the top, and then you start to descend back through history and learn how we got where we are today.
Here we go.
Absolutely. Where it all started.
Kevin, so this floor is all about the peninsula.
The whole area was carved out by glaciers.
400 million years ago.
This has been here so long, and we're so lucky to have it,
Wow.
and we need to take care of it. And that's the message we want everyone to take away.
I love it.
This is 8. This represents the people of the peninsula. And almost 80% of this floor focuses on the Native Americans that first came here and hunted here and lived here.
This really honors that.
And it also shows what happened, how things transitioned. This one starts where the previous floor leaves off.
I absolutely love maps.
You're looking at a map that was done in the 1850s, so a lot of it was just guesswork. So lighthouses were really important because the charts weren't really not that helpful, so you needed to know where you were with lighthouses. After navigation, there was commerce, right?
Yeah.
The major industries that were here, you know, the fur trade, limestone quarries, logging, even ice harvesting.
And commercial fishing, which still goes on.
Commercial fishing, yes, absolutely still goes on.
And tourism.
All the resources that were here for trade, how do you get it to the cities around the Great Lakes? So shipbuilding with wooden ships was first, easily transitioned to metal rivets and welding, and then World War II came along, and this became a boom town. At one point during the war, they were turning out a new ship every 5 days from shipyards in Sturgeon Bay.
What a beautiful legacy.
This floor is all about recreational boating. It's been a part of life in Sturgeon Bay from the earliest days.
Kayaks and paddle boats.
And canoes. You can see Life magazine did a big spread on recreational boating here.
We're bringing everything full circle on this floor because it's the web of life.
This is all the life that's in the water here.
We're gonna learn about this fish right here.
The lake trout. These are the invasive species.
Wow.
And then there's introduced species. One of those, salmon.
I'm learning so much.
This is where the shipwrecks are. And Door County's 300 miles of shoreline has more than 250 shipwrecks around it. And you know what the #1 reason is?
Fierce storms.
Human error.
Human error.
Human error. Now you're sinking. On the bottom. The message on the first floor sort of summarizes everything. All of the industry, all of our tourists, everything. You either come here or work here because of our connection to the water. And we have to take care of it.
Did you know there were tunnels built underneath the street all over downtown Sturgeon Bay? Why were these tunnels built?
Beneath 3rd Avenue, there was a series of underground tunnels that carried steam. Were you thinking prohibition tunnels? Not everything in this state is about booze, people.
Let's first talk about the building.
Sure.
Historic building built when?
1884.
On 3rd Avenue.
And this used to be Cedar Street, hence Cedar Crossing.
I was wondering. Was this your business before you came here 7 years ago?
So I was in retail management. I came from the East Coast, big city, came back to where my grandparents grew up, came for the summer, loved it, and this was a great opportunity to kind of come back and slow things down in a different way for me. My uncle and I, he was truly talking about something that he wanted to do when he retired. So
Take over?
2017 is when we took over, and we gave a little fresh face to the restaurant and to the bar.
You have a bar, you have a restaurant, you have an inn, you have a bakery.
We do.
And do you run all of it?
I do,
You do.
yes. We have a lot of amazing people in here. It is not just me.
Okay. She really likes you guys. So there's 9 rooms, but before they became 9 rooms, were they apartments up there?
There were. The shopkeepers lived upstairs. We definitely wanted to freshen.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make it homey,
De-doily.
de-doily.
It brings the image. We're going into the restaurant. If it's packed out, how many people are in here?
So we have, between the restaurant and the bar, we're gonna have about 80 people in our building. Frank is our dear friend.
Ta-da! It's pretty cool. I know what you're thinking. It's a little over the top with that wallpaper. I don't care, I love it.
This is a great building to celebrate in, and I feel like that's what we really like to do here. It's the little things in life, but what we do is just give people a smile.
Sturgeon Bay has 2 downtowns, the east side and the west side. And you can get to both by the historic steel bridge. It opened in 1931. And there was an effort to demolish this bridge, but local musicians and their friends, such as Jackson Brown, came together for something called the Steel Bridge Songfest in 2005, and they saved this bridge. And they continued that effort to preserve this historic architecture. She's a singer, songwriter, she's a teacher. How are you?
I'm great, nice to be with you.
I'm really excited to meet you. How did this happen for you?
As a songwriter, I heard about the Steel Bridge Song Festival in 2016, and so I drove all the way from New York City out here for a week, And while I was here, somebody said, "You're going to move here." And then I looked around at the real estate and I said, maybe I will.
Right, there you go. If I were to ask, like, how do you describe yourself as a musician?
Eclectic, feeling, heartfelt advocate of doing music to help people. Bridge ignorance, hate, love, all those things. And I think as long as you open yourself up and ask questions, you can agree to disagree, but we can always find that one common thing.
Blues? Do you love blues?
Yeah, that's my main focus. But I don't think of myself as a true blues player. I am blues in heart and soul, and I love the blues style.
So being from New York,
Yes.
does this at all feel like home to you, or is it really different?
So I was in New York City for 20 years, but before that I was in Paris and south of France for almost 10 years. And I've traveled so much in my life that I'm home wherever I make my community. Yeah, I just happen to love what I do, and I have to be a performer, so.
And don't you feel lucky doing it?
Absolutely. Sometimes I call people out of the audience.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And I have a cigar box. I go out in the audience and sometimes I take it off and hand it to people and ask them to play it.
Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Holiday Music Motel is quite the landmark because of its retro decor. It was the first motel built in Door County in 1952, so every room looks different. It has its own collection of mid-century modern furniture. We're talking lampshades, bathroom tile, you name it, they do it right. Especially artists and musicians, they love to come here. Apparently, they really channel their creativity.
It wouldn't be a Main Street without a little shopping. Oh, wait, you don't know what you're looking for? Well, have I got the place for you. 3rd Avenue, the Marketplace. They've got everything. Oh, resort wear. You do know what you're shopping for? And it's for your kids? Oh, no, oh, your grandkid? Well, then you got to come to the Dancing Bear because you'll find it in here. I am sitting in front of my favorite shopping. It's like this thrift consignment shop where talk about finding anything and everything. Like this. Like, this is for sale, this great little bench. I just don't know if there's room in the crew van. Gail, would you mind sitting on the roof of the van? Again? We're at Door County Forgeworks. You're a forger.
Blacksmith, usually. Blacksmiths historically were making tools for the village that they lived in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's a forge?
Forge is the item that does the heating. Think of it like an oven.
And what do you forge?
People ask me mostly for swords and knives, so that tends to be what I focus on now.
Can we take a look?
We have pieces that I've made. Here, pull that one out.
Can I?
There's a
Thank you.
chef's knife.
Wow. I love the design. It's really cool. So will this ever be used?
I hope so.
By you?
Well, I'd rather sell it.
You would?
But
this is what we have here.
So here is a kitchen cleaver. There you go.
Yes. This is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are going to experience a little bit of hot reality here.
I can't wait. You have a look in your eye of pity for me. Do you know?
I forge mostly now it's pattern welded steel because that's what people ask me to do.
It's cooking.
It is warm. So what's happening is the water is boiling out of the borax. Yeah, and it chemically cleans the steel.
That looks like cotton.
It is, but it can withstand a tremendous amount of heat.
What does somebody who learns that art of blacksmithing, like what are they, is there a path they usually take?
There are apprenticeships that were historically done. That's changed a little bit now. There are blacksmith programs at universities now.
Can I get it?
Yes.
I'm bringing it over.
Yes.
Oh my God, look at this thing. Is there something you'd rather make?
Well, I have projects that I enjoy doing, but I really enjoy the idea of the next project, not the reality of the current one.
My heart.
Blacksmiths do the heavy, hot work.
Yeah.
Because the resulting piece is black. So there are whitesmiths. They're the ones that do the finish work. Lather, rinse, repeat. That's all it is. But we'll probably do that 2 more times. and then I'll take over under Baby Hugie there.
Okay.
And that hits 3 times a second with about 80 tons of force.
You're doing.
So that's kind of what you're going to end up with that cherry handle.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some steam, right?
That's smoke. Lift it up. There's your quenched knife. So that's hardened. So there's your...
Oh my God, look at me. Nice.
Yep.
It looks good, doesn't it?
That'll work well in a kitchen.
Whenever I hear the word forge now, you are what I will think of, just so you know. This is what a forge guy looks like. Oh, you're good.
Here's my Sturgeon Bay tip. We found this adorable chapel-turned-restaurant called Drömhus. Now, it means dream house in Swedish. And you know what sounds dreamy to me in Swedish? These meatballs. Dreamy.
This has got to be a very important building because it originated on this side of town, which is the west side, and then they moved it to the east side and moved it back to the west side to save it, to preserve it. What is that building?
You know, you could have just asked me. I have the answer. It's the Door County Granary building. It was built in 1901, and the reason it's so special is because it's one of the last remaining wooden granary elevators on the Great Lakes. Pretty special.
So smart, Emmy Fink. It's an orchard. It's called Robertson Orchard. It began in 1879. I was raised in a neighborhood in the city of Milwaukee. So if I ask you a question that you're like, you've got to be kidding me, I just don't know, okay? How many different type of cherries are there?
You got to be kidding me.
How many generations have been farming this land?
My son Skip is the 5th generation.
Is the 5th?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the responsibility of the 5th generation running the orchard. Do you feel it?
I feel it, John.
Do you? So were you raised on this land?
I was.
Yeah, so you know cherry farming, huh?
Yeah, I've been here for 67 years.
I have been here since I was born.
I see that Skip has some kids, so I'm sure there's generations to come, yes?
Yep.
Do you believe that this will continue?
If they like it.
If they like it. Apples is what I hear, but cherries is really kind of your focus,
Cherries.
yes?
Yep.
Montmorency's and Ballotons are the 2 types of tart cherries that we have.
Using those more for baking, for pies, those kind of things.
And in reality, it should really be called semi-sweet.
So then we have 25 different varieties of sweet cherries.
Sweet cherries more for eating right off the tree or, you know,
Right.
having a snack at home.
He said as a kid he liked the sweet cherries, but not anymore.
He used to sit on the shaker. His teeth were just black from eating cherries.
Is that
Stained.
right? Is that right?
Yep.
We haven't even touched on your apples yet.
We have apples as well.
What kind of apples?
Ginger Gold, Red Free, Zestar, Honeycrisp, Cortland,
Wealthy,
John-O-Mac, Ida Red.
Paula Red. Did you say Macintosh? And we have 3 different varieties of pears as well.
Did you know what you were getting into?
I did know what I was getting into.
Good. They need some time, don't they?
Yeah, a little bit of time. I'd probably say give it 3 more weeks. Tart cherries are self-pollinating. Sweet cherries need to have a cross-pollinator with it.
So this guy's smaller, it seems. Why? Is it because it's younger?
If we let a sweet cherry just keep growing, it'll get over 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the tart cherries. I grew up here. To me, I didn't realize how good I had it as a kid. Being able to walk out of the house, go right out to the tree, grab something that looked riper than the rest, and eat it and enjoy it.
Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You've heard that before, right?
Of course I have.
Good job.
I am always up for an active adventure, and here at Potawatomi State Park, they have everything. You can rent bikes, kayaks, paddleboards, you name it. It also is the start of the Ice Age Trail. It's a 1,000-mile journey following the last continental glacier in Wisconsin. Such an awesome place. Put it on your bucket list. You know, with our Wisconsin roots, we've made so many trips up to Door County, but when I'm driving up and I see the Sturgeon Bay sign, I always think, the beginning.
Well, that's funny because I have come up here where Sturgeon Bay was the beginning, the middle, and the end. I mean, I really love this community.
All right, I'm coming with you the next time.
Good, let's do it. No kids, though, okay?
Nope,
Don't bring the dog.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be. The heart and soul of communities.
I'm going to be very there for you.
Don't. That throws me off every time. Here at Potawatomi, I can't do it.
Go in that lighthouse. La, la, la. Ooh.
No, I don't want to walk with John.
Taking one for the team again.
Get out of here.
We thank the underwriters of John McGivern's Main Streets because without them, we couldn't make this show.
There's no place like Oconomowoc. Explore, play, shop, stay. Visit Oconomowoc.
Your community's best selfie spot is your type.
You'll find your bright spot in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin.
My father taught me that to make great bakery, you have to do it the right way. O&H Danish Bakery, where kringle traditions begin.
Yes, Greendale is beautiful on the outside. But it's what's inside that counts. Who doesn't love opening a door to their happy place? Whether it's indulging your sweet tooth, winding down, or exploring your creative side. Come on in. You just gotta see Greendale.
The Wisconsin Northwoods are calling. One word, one place. Minocqua.
John McGivern's Main Streets is grateful for additional financial support from Horicon Bank, the natural choice. West Bend Insurance Company, the silver lining. Our nonprofit, the Friends of Main Streets. And from the Friends of PBS Wisconsin. Thanks, underwriters.
They can tell who the new guy is. Take a look at the boots. I still have my price tag on.